strange, letting that thing, you had to hold the wheel, but it would steer for you down the highway.
But somebody says, but what if a small animal runs out in front of you? Are you gonna do
Yeah.
that, or a deer coming in front of you?
I'll tell you what, I set the cruise on that thing. I'd come up behind somebody, it would slow me right down to their speed. It knows what's going
Well,
on
you know,
around you.
no, on the Chrysler 300 I have is a 2012, it has adaptive cruise control. I set it as a distance of 3. So if I come up behind somebody, it automatically slows down, and if there's somebody that would pull it out in front of me, it would automatically brake. But it didn't do it for a deer though.
Yeah. They'll have that sooner or later, I'm sure.
Sooner or later. But I really like that adaptive cruise control because, you know, following, when I drove out to Seattle, going through Idaho, it was kind of rainy, and so I was following a semi, and I just kept a nice safe distance behind him when it was raining, and I could see his tail lights, you know, so I didn't have to worry about anything.
I learned I really have control.
Hey, Lane, this is Dominic in the assembly room.
I just wanna have the control more, so. to let-
Hello.
Hi, here in the assembly room, we have Rick Seafelt, Alan Drabeck, and Marilyn Bend. I do see that we have David Overbeck via phone or WebEx. Do we have any other committee members in attendance at this time?
Yeah, so here's who I have is I have Guild, Oberbeck, and Pfeifferich virtually, whether that's by phone or WebEx.
All right, thank you.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to ERC. This is Lane. We're just waiting for Chairman Jacob Langenhan. Otherwise, we have present, we have Guild, Drabeck, Oberbeck, Pfeifferich, Seafelt, and Bend.
She's in Florida. She left me. She's been gone so long, I just got her bachelor's degree. She should be back on Thursday.
ERC members, this is Lane. We're still waiting for Jacob Langenhan, unless Sarah Guild, if you wanted to, as vice chair, if you wanted to get started. Up to you guys.
I am prepared to start if need be. Has anyone heard from Chair Langenhan regarding his timeline for joining us?
I haven't heard anything. I don't believe anybody else has. Maybe we'll give it till 3:05, 3:06, and if we don't hear from him in another minute or two, maybe we can start.
That sounds like a good plan.
All right, thank you.
This is Marilyn Bend. I think Sarah, go ahead if he doesn't get here in a few minutes.
you said that you wanted to speak for the rezone?
I guess if there's any additional information that would be provided, sure.
Okay.
Not that I'm required to.
Okay,
I
sounds
think
good.
we basically review everything that's on the application, correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, so if you want, if there are questions, you can just kind of come on up
Okay.
here and then just press that button until it turns green and we'll go from there.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Tell Sarah to go ahead.
I'm not sure if I have.
All right, Lane, has there been any word from Chair Longenhan yet?
Hi, Sarah, this is Lane. I just tried to call Mr. Longenhan, but I didn't get an answer, so I think if you wanted to start the meeting, you could. We do have a quorum.
Okay, well then let's get her going here. And when he arrives, I will pass the baton back to him. So, on behalf of the committee, I would like to call to order the June 2021 meeting of the Marathon County Environmental Resources Committee. The first item on the agenda is our public comment period. Do we have any members of the public who have registered to speak today?
This is Dominique in the assembly.
Sarah, I
room.
don't.
Oh,
Go ahead, Dom.
yep, this is Dominique in the assembly room. We do not have anyone signed up for public comment.
And Sarah, this is Lane in the virtual world, in the clouds. We do not have anyone signed up.
All right, with no one registered for public comment, we'll move on to item 3, the approval of the May 4th, 2021 committee minutes. I'm looking for any questions, comments, or corrections related to the minutes. Otherwise, I would accept a motion and second to approve as presented.
Sarah, Al Draybeck here, we move to approve. Did I push that hard enough, or what?
Yeah.
All
Supervisor
right, we have a
Seifelt
mo-
makes a second.
And we have a second, one last call for any changes or corrections to the minutes as presented. Hearing none, all in favor of approving the May 4th ERC committee meeting minutes, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. And with that, we'll move on to item 4, our operational functions as required by statute, ordinance, or resolution. 4A are the public hearings for review and possible action. And so I will transition over to opening up our public hearings. As most of you know, I do have some information to read off regarding the public hearings for those of you that are new. So please bear with me. But the first item on the request is to remind everyone to please make sure that if you are attending by phone or virtually, that you are on mute when you are not looking to speak. That makes it much easier for everyone to hear what is going on. So the Marathon County Environmental Resources Committee is now meeting in public hearing on the location, plans, specifications, and purpose of the following 3 projects. First will be KPS Enterprises, Inc., looking for urban residential change to neighborhood commercial in the town of Marathon. Next will be Tim Vreeland on behalf of Bernie Wenzel and Lakes Green Acres, farmland preservation and to light industrial, and light industrial to neighborhood commercial in the town of McMillan. And third will be Devin Kloxim on behalf of Todd and Lori Smith for general ag to neighborhood commercial and rural estate in the town of Rib Falls. I would like to introduce the members of the committee. In addition to myself, Sarah Guild as vice chair, we have supervisors Bill Conway, Rick Seifelt, Randy Fifrick, Alan Draybeck, Arnie Schley, Dave Oberbeck, as well as Marilyn Benn representing the Wisconsin Towns and Villages Association, and Eric Vogel representing the FSA. Also present are a number of members of staff. I would ask that they introduce themselves. Let's start with Lane Loveland.
Hello, Lane Loveland, Marathon County Land Resources Manager.
And next we have Dominic.
Yep, I'm Dominic Swangsty. I'm the County Zoning Administrator.
All right, and I believe Paul Daigle. Oh, and he is the county conservationist. Do we have any other staff present that will be involved in this portion of the meeting?
Cindy Krieger, Administrative Coordinator.
Thank you, Cindy. Any other staff? All right, hearing none, I'm going to move forward. The establishment of the ERC committee is required by law for purposes of administration of county ordinances and land conservation programs. This committee must follow state laws and local ordinances as written. This committee cannot change or ignore any part of the ordinances or state laws, but must apply the laws as written. The purpose of this committee is to hear and decide on proposed ordinances and ordinance revisions, rezoning petitions, and provide direction on land conservation and planning programs. The ERC committee will give a full and fair hearing to any person applying for a rezone petition. A taped recording is being made of the meeting, which will assist with preparation of written hearing minutes. The committee is interested in hearing all pertinent comments and questions. Each hearing will be opened by reading the public notice and allowing staff to present a staff report, including evidence from any on-site inspections. The applicant and anyone wishing to testify will then be sworn in and allowed to give testimony. Witnesses will be called in the order of those first in favor, second opposed, and then third as interest may appear. The committee may ask questions of the zoning staff and applicant. It is necessary that we set a reasonable time limit on individual statements and on the overall length of the hearing. To promote orderly discussion, anyone wishing to present oral testimony or ask questions relating to the hearing should state their name and present their testimony or question so it becomes a part of the official record. We request that you avoid repetition. Once the committee has all of the necessary facts, the chairman will close the hearing, which allows for no further testimony. The committee will then deliberate and decide in front of the public whether the applicant has met the standards in the ordinance. No additional testimony from the public is allowed during the deliberation. However, the committee may question staff for purposes of clarification. After a decision is made, the committee will proceed to the next hearing. Many of the decisions made by the committee are a recommendation to the Marathon County Board of Supervisors, who will take up the matter at a future county board meeting. Please contact staff for more information regarding this county board process. The committee will now hear the first application for 4A1 KPS Enterprises, Inc. for an urban residential to a neighborhood commercial in the town of Marathon. So we'll begin with staff. I am assuming that Dom will be giving the presentation.
That is correct.
All right, then can I get your name and affirmation if you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do, and Dominic Swangsty. I'm not sure if you need my address, but.
It doesn't hurt. Why don't we get it on the record?
All right, 904 Park Ave, Wausau, Wisconsin.
All right, you.
All right.
Mr. Chair, Sarah?
Yes.
This is Lane. I just wanted to give you a quick update. I just got a text from Jacob, and he will be joining shortly.
Wonderful.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
All right, well, I'll get started here with the staff report for KPS Enterprises, Inc. As previously stated, this is a rezone petition in the town of Marathon to rezone lands from urban residential to neighborhood commercial. The location of the rezone request is shown in the plat map here below on the screen on the western portion of the town of Marathon, on the northeastern corner of the intersection of Highway 107 and County Road N. Moving down to the existing zoning district map, adjacent parcels are zoned neighborhood commercial, shown in red, as well as farmland preservation, shown in teal. There are also one light industrial parcel, shown pink, within close proximity to the parcel in question. Parcel is approximately 0.978 acres. Existing generalized land use and land cover map. The parcel proposed to be rezoned is shown as residential land use in the town's comprehensive plan existing land use map. Adjacent land uses are comprised of similar land uses, including agricultural and industrial uses. Moving down to the future land use map from the 2017 plan. Again, the area proposed to be rezoned was shown as single-family residential. Adjacent lands are, again, comprised of similar land uses such as woodland, agricultural, and commercial land uses. Farmland Preservation Plan, the area in question was not designated as a farmland preservation area in the Farmland Preservation Plan. Significant parcel limitations or natural features. The area proposed to be rezoned has no mapped DNR, or no DNR mapped wetlands, floodplain areas, nor any shoreline overlay areas or water features within it. And scrolling down here, you'll see the area that is slightly shaded in red and outlined in the dotted red lines. That is the parcel in question proposed to be rezoned. And it's important to note as well, as a part of this rezone or after the rezone, there will be a CSM submitted to adjust those boundary lines to essentially get the adequate acreage of 1 acre. And essentially it'll be associated with the existing neighborhood commercial business to the east. So it'll all be under the same ownership and under the same zoning district. Going down to the existing certified survey map. As previously stated, this lot is currently substandard in size if it were to be rezoned to neighborhood commercial. But I did speak with the petitioner before this meeting a few hours ago, and they had said that, they're still working on the process, and once this rezone is approved, they'll be working with a surveyor to adjust those boundary lines to ensure that both parcels meet that minimum lot size. And there is also the option as well to just combine the existing Lot 1 and Lot 2 as shown on here, given they will be in the same zoning district if and when the rezone is approved. Town recommendation: on May 12th, the Town of Marathon Town Board recommended approval to the Marathon County Environmental Resources Committee. And they did have some comments in there. So they did state that the rezone was consistent with the town's adopted comprehensive plan, stating the town zoning board previously approved the development of KPS, and this would be consistent with that. They also noted on question 11, if there's any additional comments, they had stated this is a positive change for the site. It will clean up an eyesore, and they did ultimately recommend approval as seen in the resolution. All right, so moving down to the plans. It appears the rezone is consistent with the Marathon County Comprehensive Plan. Although it appears to be inconsistent with the town's future land use map, as indicated by the town in their resolution, it appears to be consistent with the purpose and intent of that plan. And again, this area was not designated as a farmland preservation area in the Farmland Preservation Plan. There will be no cropland converted as a result of the rezone. The need is related to a proposed business expansion and possible parcel combination or parcel line adjustment, as I had alluded to before. All federal, state, and local permits and approvals are required for any applicable development on site. The Town of Marathon Town Board has recommended approval of this rezone. And then moving down to number 6, any concerns from other agencies. At the time that this staff report was created, we did not receive any comments or concerns from other agencies. Yet this morning, we did receive an email from the DNR, or from the DOT in regards to access. And I'll just read the email as included that was sent to us. So it's from Nicholas Kelly, sent today, this morning at 7:41 or 7:42 a.m. And it stated, "Hi Cindy, Dave Murat forwarded your meeting agenda for June 1st. We would like to offer the following comments. KPS-WIS would like to see the 2 existing driveways to the house property removed if the business is going to be expanding. These driveways are within the functional area of the intersection and pose a safety and operational concern for the public." And there are some additional comments, but those are in regards to the other rezones, so I will read those during those public hearings. So, but those were the only comments provided by the DOT in regards to this rezone. Moving down to staff recommendations, the rezone appears to meet all the zoning district standards as it as it relates to size, frontage, access, and dimension. As noted, when and if it is combined with the adjacent neighborhood commercial lot, or there is the opportunity to just adjust that boundary line. Town of Marathon has recommended approval of the rezone, and the Town of Marathon should also update their comprehensive plan to reflect the rezone to neighborhood commercial from the urban residential zoning district. Based on the information provided above, findings of fact, conclusions of law, and the town's recommendation, it appears the rezone meets all of the rezone criteria and standards for rezoning. Therefore, CPZ staff recommend that the Environmental Resources Committee recommend approval to the Marathon County Board of Supervisors. And that concludes the staff report for their first rezone.
All right, thank you. Are there any questions at this time from committee members for the staff regarding their report?
Vice Chair Guild, this is Supervisor Pfeiffer.
Supervisor Pfeiffer is back.
Thank you. So just a quick question, Dom, on the process for everything here. I understand with that comment coming in this morning, would that change your staff recommendation in terms of the criteria? And then second of all, at what stage in the process would the combination of driveways be appropriate? Is there a site plan approval that would take place? Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor. So essentially with this, and I know I spoke with, like I had alluded to, I spoke with the property owner this morning or this evening. And essentially as a part of that, we'll take the DOT's comments and concerns into consideration when they do supply their site plan for their proposed accessory structure that is associated with that commercial business. So essentially we wouldn't, permit any expansion or I guess having them utilize those existing driveways, and depending on what their final site plan looks like with all of their proposed developments, we may then require them to remove those accesses or show that they won't be utilizing them for their commercial business. But I know it wouldn't necessarily change our staff report when it comes to the rezone itself, but we will be able to take a closer look at this and communicate with the DOT through the zoning permit process.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions from committee members for staff at this time?
Marilyn Van speaking. Therefore, that would mean
Marilyn?
that the DOT would say you close off those two existing driveways, but they'd then issue a permit for a new driveway further away from the intersection. Is that what you understand?
So from my recollection of the email, essentially they said the Wisconsin DOT would like to see the two existing driveways in the house property removed if the business is going to expand. So just with that language there and that verbiage, I don't think there's anything that they're requiring at this point. But like I said before, with the planning for the new development and project on site, that would be taken into consideration, and they may be planning on utilizing their existing driveway on their commercial facility. And I know and if I recall, I believe someone, either the petitioner or the owner, is on the line, so they may be able to provide additional comments and specifics regarding any future site plan. But again, in regards to the rezone, I don't have any, the comments provided by the DOT doesn't change the CPC's recommendation of approval in this instance.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions for staff? All right, hearing none, then we will transition over to the public discussion. So as a reminder, this comes in three parts. First will be people in favor, then those who are opposed to the rezone, and then anyone as interested. So to begin, I will first call for anyone who wishes to speak in favor of the rezone, be it if you are on WebEx or calling in. Please speak up now. So I'm looking for anyone in favor who is on the phone or computer.
Chair Guild, this is
Yes.
Nate Loveland. I just want to take a quick break here. We've got two call-in users, and I just want to make sure that they're being heard. So call-in user, last two digits, 82. Can you please state your name for the record?
This is Dave Decker calling in.
Hi, Dave. Welcome to ERC. And then call-in user, last two digits, 18. Please state your name for the record.
This is Arnie Schley.
Ronnie Schley, welcome to ERC. And then we do have Kurt Gacky that has called in. Kurt, if you wanted to speak in favor of this rezone, now would be your time. Otherwise, you can wait for Chair Guild to call it and those opposed of.
Yeah, I basically called in just to answer any questions if anybody had any. Of course, I'm in favor of it, but that's pretty much it.
All right, Kurt, if you want to just go on the official record as being here in favor, I can swear you in. You can make that comment and open it up for questions. Is that something you're willing to do?
Sure, I can swear in as being in favor.
All right, so all I need from you is you to officially state your name and your address for the record. And so if you could.
My name is Kurt Gacky, 141043 Alpine Road in the town of Marathon.
All right, and do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Wonderful. You now have the floor to make any statement regarding your favor for this petition.
Yeah, basically we bought the property to put a storage building on and clean up it was kind of an eyesore in a blighted, area, and it works out for our business. So, it's kind of improving the corner lot and getting the building off the site path between the intersection where you always see accidents happen. So that's kind of an improvement there too.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any questions from committee for Mr. Gacky? Okay, hearing none, I think we've got that on the record, so thank you very much for speaking today. All right, do we have anyone else present today, either in person or on the phone or computer, wishing to speak in favor of this rezone? One more time, anyone in favor of the rezone wishing to speak today? Okay, hearing none, I will move forward to, is there anyone opposed to the rezone looking to speak today? I'll ask again, are there anyone in opposition to this rezone who wishes to speak today? One last time, anyone in opposition to the rezone looking to speak today? All right, hearing none, we will move on to the final option. Anyone who is as interested may appear to make general comments. Please speak up. I will ask again, anyone wishing to speak as interest may appear? One last call, anyone wishing to speak as interest may appear today? Okay, hearing none. I will assume that no one else wishes to testify for the application. I am now declaring the public hearing closed. So the committee will now deliberate on this application and apply the standards of the zoning ordinance. So committee members, do you have any additional questions regarding this application? Otherwise, I would accept a motion for approval or denial, but remember that your motion does need to include a brief reference to the reasons for the approval or denial.
Vice Chair Guild, this is Supervisor Pfeifferich.
Supervisor Pfeifferich is recognized.
I would make a motion that we recommend approval of the rezoning for KPS Enterprises from urban residential to neighborhood commercial in the town of Marathon, except the findings of fact as presented in the staff report.
Thank you, Supervisor. Is there a second to that motion?
Supervisor Conway will second.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any additional questions or comments from committee members before we make a vote? Okay, hearing none, all in favor of the motion to approve this petition, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. The petition is approved. And now we'll move on to the next. Before we do that, has Chair Longenhan joined us yet, or am I still running this one?
Hi, Sarah. I haven't heard from Mr. Longenhan, so it looks like you're doing a great job. So we're gonna let you keep going. So
Thanks. All right, well, with those positive words of affirmation, we'll move forward to item 4A2, Tim Breland on behalf of Bernie Wenzel and Leeks Green Acres for farmland preservation to light industrial and light industrial to neighborhood commercial in the town of McMillan. So we will start once again with the staff report, and Dominic is still sworn in, so I will pass it over to you, sir.
Alrighty, thank you, Vice Chair. Excuse me. So as previously stated, this is a rezone petition by Tim Breland on behalf of Bernie Wenzel and Lakes Green Acres, Inc. in the town of McMillan. As you can see in the plat map here shown, the areas proposed to be rezoned are located in the northeastern portion of the town of McMillan, just on the west side of State Highway 97. And I can see, as you may have noticed in the public hearing notice, there are quite a few zoning districts referenced and areas to be rezoned. So we did put together a little diagram that identifies and hopefully provides clarity in regards to what areas are being rezoned to what. So like I said, existing zoning districts are farmland preservation, light industrial, and the proposed zoning districts are light industrial and neighborhood commercial. Existing zoning districts, essentially the surrounding parcels and adjacent districts are predominantly zoned farmland preservation. There are some light industrial zone parcels within close proximity, as well as some residential parcels along 97 to the south. But like I said, vastly surrounded by farmland preservation zone parcels. Moving down to the existing land cover land use map, the area proposed to be rezoned is shown as cropland, other agriculture, and single-family residential land uses in the existing land use map. Excuse me. Moving down to the future land use map, the areas proposed to be rezoned are designated as cropland in the town's future land use map in 2006. And as some of you may be aware, again, this is of note that the town of McMillan is currently in the process of updating their comprehensive plan, which includes their existing and future land use maps. So that's something to take into consideration as well. Farmland preservation. The areas in questions are partially designated as a non-farmland preservation area in the farmland preservation plan, whereas a portion of the lot to be rezoned to light industrial is shown as farmland preservation area. As seen in the zoning district map, the existing parcel is split zoned and currently in violation of the zoning ordinance. A rezone approval of the area in question would bring the parcels into compliance with the zoning district minimum lot size standards. Prime farm soils, the area proposed to be rezoned has some prime farm soils from Group 1, but it does not contain any prime farm soils from Group 2, which are the best agricultural soils for agricultural production. Specific parcel limitations or natural features. The area proposed to be rezoned has no mapped or DNR mapped wetlands, floodplain areas, nor any shoreline overlay areas within it. And as seen below, here's an aerial photo of the area in question. The exhibit map submitted as a part of the rezone petition. This kind of identifies the two proposed parcels. And then again, as I had previously alluded to, below we'll have a little diagram overlaying some colors to this to identify the areas that are being rezoned to what. Oh, and here we are right here. So the staff diagram, so it's created May 13th, and essentially has some references to what area is being rezoned to what. As you can see, the area shown in green is currently zoned farmland preservation and is being proposed to be rezoned to light industrial. The area in purple is currently zoned light industrial and will not change its zoning classification as a result of this rezone. And then lastly, the area shown in red, shown as parcel 2, is currently zoned light industrial and is being proposed to be rezoned to neighborhood commercial. And then the approximate sizes of both of those parcels, parcel 2 being approximately 1.4 acres, and then parcel 1 being 8.8 acres in size. On May 10th, 2021, the Town of McMillan Town Board recommended approval of the rezone in question. Moving down to the staff comments of ERC conclusions of law, it appears to be consistent with the town, or the Marathon County Comprehensive Plan. Although it is inconsistent with the town's comprehensive plan, as I had stated before, the town is in the process of updating their comprehensive plan. So I believe that they would have taken, their future plan into consideration while making a recommendation for this rezone. As previously stated, the area is proposed to be rezoned is designated as both a farmland preservation and a non-farmland preservation area in the farmland preservation plan. The rezone will correct a current violation, or a current zoning violation that, I guess, relates to the creation of a parcel that did not meet the minimum lot size for the farmland preservation zoning district. And lastly, that the town resolution that the town board supplied stated that they believe it is consistent with the purpose and intent, or the comprehensive plan as a whole. Going down, the area proposed to be rezoned appears to minimize the land converted as a result of the rezone. Adjacent lands will continue to be farmed. Additionally, adjacent remnant parcels will be combined and reconfigured to ensure each of the parcels still zoned farmland preservation meet the minimum lot size of 35 acres for that district. The need is related to an expanded business proposal as well as a existing non-conforming use on site. The proposed rezone will bring the current commercial business into compliance with the zoning ordinance standards. Lastly, the rezone will bring the parcels into compliance as it relates to the minimum lot size. All federal, state, and local permits and approvals are required for any applicable development on site. The Town of McMillan Town Board has recommended approval of the rezone in question. And the county was not made aware of any concerns from other agencies, but similarly to the previous public hearing, we did obtain some comments from the DOT, and they had stated we would like to offer the following comments. And for this particular rezone, they had stated Wenzel Lake. We have an old permit issued to Likes Green Acres for agricultural use. So they didn't identify necessarily any concerns, and I believe they are referring to, and I'll scroll up here, the agricultural access to the south, if I recall here. Likes Green Acres Inc. owns pretty much all of the parcels surrounding the smaller parcel. And as a part of this, like I said before, they are looking to reconfigure those lots and utilize existing access on the highway. But like I said, in regards to the area proposed to be rezoned and parcel 1 and 2 as shown in the exhibit map, the uses on those sites are not proposing to change. Essentially, just the zoning classification change will bring the uses and those parcels into compliance. The rezone meets all of the zoning district standards as it relates to size, frontage, and access and dimension. The town should incorporate this rezone if it is approved into their future land use map and existing land use map and their updated comprehensive plan. And based on the information provided above, findings of fact, conclusions of law, and the town's recommendation, it appears the rezone request meets all of the rezone criteria and standards for rezoning. Therefore, CPZ staff recommend that the Environmental Resources Committee recommend approval to the Marathon County Board of Supervisors. And that concludes the staff report.
All right, thank you very much. Are there any questions from committee members for staff regarding this report? One more call. Any questions from committee members? Okay, hearing none, I believe we can move forward, but before we do, I understand that Chair Langenhan has joined the meeting. Is that correct?
That is correct, Supervisor Guild. I think that going forward, why don't you finish this rezone that we have here, and then I can take over after that for consistency's sake.
That sounds good to me. And welcome to the meeting. So, well, then I will move into the public discussion portion of this hearing. So first, is there anyone present, either on the phone or in person, who wishes to speak in favor of this request? I'll ask again, is there anyone present wishing to speak in favor of this request? One more call. Anyone either on the phone or in person looking to speak in favor of this petition? Okay, hearing none, I will move on to anyone opposed to the petition. Is there anyone either on the phone, computer, or in person looking to speak in opposition to this? I'll ask again, anyone present wishing to speak in opposition to the petition? And once more, anyone looking to speak in opposition to this petition? Okay, hearing no one looking to speak in opposition, I will move on to interested parties. Is there anyone either on the phone or in person looking to speak as interest may appear for general comments on this petition? Once again, anyone looking to speak as interest may appear for general comments on this petition? And one final time, anyone wishing to speak as interest may appear on this request? Okay, hearing none, if no one else wishes to testify for this application, I am now declaring the public hearing on Tim Vreeland on behalf of Bernie Wenzel and Lakes Green Acres as closed. The committee will now deliberate on the application and apply the standards of the zoning ordinance. So are there any questions or comments from committee members? Or I would also entertain a motion for approval or denial that includes a reference to the reasons for that approval or denial.
Vice Chair Gill, this is Supervisor Pfeifferich.
Supervisor Pfeifferich is recognized.
I would make a motion that we recommend approval of the rezone for Tim Vreeland on behalf of Bernie Wenzel and Leaks Green Acres, Inc. from farmland preservation to light industrial and light industrial to neighborhood commercial in the town of McMillan, and accept the findings of fact as presented in the staff report.
Thank you for that motion. Do we have a second?
Supervisor Conley will second.
We have a motion and a second. One additional call for any questions or comments from committee members for the motion on the floor. Okay, hearing none. All in favor of approving the motion on the floor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much. And at this point, I will transition the running of the public hearing over to Chair Langenhahn for the third item on the public hearing list.
Thank you, Vice Chair Gill. I apologize to the staff and committee members and the public. Thank you for your patience. I had a phone call that I expected to take 5 minutes, and it took a considerable amount of time, more than 5 minutes. So just happy I could make the meeting here. Now, we'll go into the 4-3 public hearing for Dennis Coxeam on behalf of Todd and Lori Smith, General Agriculture to Neighborhood Commercial and Rural Estate, Town of Rib Falls. We'll begin with our staff report. Dom, I think you're out there.
Yep, thank you, Chairman. All right, so I get started here. So as stated before, this is a rezone petition by Kevin Cloudsome, and I apologize if I didn't, definitely did not get that right, but by the property owners of Todd and Laura Smith. And this is a rezone in the town of Rib Falls, as seen on the plat map here. It is located on the southeastern portion of the town, just north of the intersection of Highway 29 and 107. Existing zoning districts, general ag. Proposed is the rural estate and neighborhood commercial. Moving down to the existing zoning district maps, the adjacent parcels are zoned rural estate, general agricultural and white, with some rural residential parcels within close proximity. And there also is some conservancy recreation nearby. Oh, oops. And again, it's as shown on here, it is just north of the city limits, or I believe it's the village limits of the Marathon City. So just north of there. Total acreage proposed to be rezoned is approximately 11.44 acres, and approximately 6.4 acres going to rural estate and 5 acres going to neighborhood commercial. Moving down to the town's comprehensive plan, the area/parcel proposed to be rezoned is shown as woodland and agricultural land uses in the town's existing land use map. Adjacent land uses are comprised of similar land uses, including woodland, residential, agricultural, and commercial land uses. All right, the area proposed to be rezoned is shown as forestry and agricultural land uses in the town's comprehensive plan future land use map. And this, of note, the plan itself from the town of Rib Falls was updated in 2017, but it appears that the maps within that plan are derived from the 2006 comprehensive plan. So the maps are essentially from 2006. And again, area proposed to be rezoned. It does have some area that is also covered with a minor civil divisions overlaid in their plan. I'm not entirely sure what the qualifications or the distinction of that land use is, but given it is adjacent to a state highway, I believe it would just allow for any expansion of those roads. But if there was any comments or questions or concerns by the town, they would have identified them in their town resolution. Moving down to the Farmland Preservation Plan, the area in question was designated as a Farmland Preservation Area in the plan. Additionally, the town does not participate in the Farmland Preservation zoning. Therefore, no parcels within the town of Rib Falls are zoned Farmland Preservation. Significant parcel limitations or natural features. The area proposed to be rezoned has both DNR mapped wetlands as well as a pond and intermittent stream located on it. The area is proposed to be rezoned is mostly covered with the shoreline overlay due to the nearby ponds and waterways within close proximity. Yet a formal or official navigability determination of the pond and stream on site has not been conducted. So the applicability of the shoreline regulations is uncertain at this time, but given we do have some water features shown on our mapping system, essentially these waterways are deemed navigable unless otherwise determined by an on-site inspection or report. Moving down to an aerial photo, I'll try to zoom out so you can see the whole thing here. So as you can see here, this is the approximate configuration of those two parcels in the area to be rezoned. As shown here in the red dotted lines, this is the area proposed to be rezoned to neighborhood commercial. And then on the western and northern portion shown in the orange, or surrounded by the orange, that is the area proposed to be rezoned to the rural estate zoning district. And again, these locations shown on these maps are approximate, and please see the preliminary certified survey map for specific dimensions and details. And then below that is just an aerial photo of adjacent land uses. The area in question is located right here, where that pond is. The preliminary certified survey map. And as you can see here, Lot 2 going to neighborhood commercial, 5 acres, and then Lot 1, 6.4 acres, that's going to rural estate. And then of note as well, the rural estate parcel is proposed to have 66 feet of access onto the state highway, and that is the minimum requirement for the zoning ordinance. There are a few things taken into consideration when allowing a parcel to be created with less than the minimum frontage requirement for that zoning district. But there are things taken into consideration such as the intent of the land division, land uses, any limiting factors such as wetlands, as well as agricultural lands. So that we did discuss with the surveyor, and in this instance, the 66 foot of access directly to the road is adequate. Moving down to the town recommendation, on May 11th, 2021, the town of Rib Falls Town Board recommended approval to the Marathon County Environmental Resources Committee. And then on on their resolution, question 10, they did state that it was consistent with their town's comprehensive plan, stating it promotes economic development and minimizes ag land conversion. They didn't have anything on the last question, but ultimately, as shown here, they did recommend approval. Moving down to CPC staff's comments regarding ERC conclusions of law. It appears to be consistent with the county's comprehensive plan. The town has indicated that it is consistent with the purpose and intent of their plan. And like I had alluded to before, the existing and future land use maps shown in their updated plan are from 2006, so they are a little outdated. So essentially, CPZ staff rely on the towns and the town residents to make these more in-depth recommendations or interpretations of their comprehensive plans, given they know their plans the best. The area proposed to be rezoned is also within close proximity to other commercially zoned parcels just north of the village of Marathon City. There's some active cropland on the parcel proposed to be rezoned. The area to be rezoned is adjacent to active agricultural lands, yet the cropland in question is said to be difficult to farm due to its close proximity to wetlands and low areas, making maneuverability or maneuvering large farm equipment difficult. Moving down to the need. The need is related to a pending certified survey map submitted to our department, as well as a proposed new single-family home, as well as a new business location, essentially relocating an existing business. All federal, state, and local permits and approvals are required for any applicable development on site. The town of Rib Falls Town Board has recommended approval of the rezone petition. So moving on to number 6. Again, the DOT did provide some insight, and we got some updated information than what is shown on here, but I'll just go over this. So the county was not made aware of any concerns from other agencies, yet CPZ has had some correspondence with the Wisconsin DOT, and the DOT cannot approve the commercial access onto the state highway without the rezone approval. The DOT is aware of the rezone proposal and is awaiting the approval of the commercial for the commercial access onto State Highway 107. Essentially, until the rezone is formally approved, they can approve it, but they did not identify any concerns or issues at this time. And similarly, from the email we received from the DOT this morning, their comments they provided in regards to this rezone were as follows. We are currently working with them for driveway permits. So essentially, they're working through all of their appropriate processes, and they're well aware of it. So essentially, based on the information provided above, findings of fact, conclusions of law, and the town's recommendation, it appears the rezone request meets all rezone criteria and standards for rezoning. Therefore, CPZ staff recommend that the Environmental Resources Committee recommend approval to the Marathon County Board of Supervisors. And that concludes the staff report.
Okay, any questions for Don from the committee? Seeing none, thank you, Don. All right, moving on. So, is there anyone here wishing to speak in favor of the request? I'll call again. Is there anyone here wishing to speak in favor of the request? I'll call one more time after this.
Yep, Chairman, this is Dominique. We do have a resident here who would like to speak in favor, and he's coming up to the podium now.
Very good.
Gene Wadzinski, professional land surveyor, representing Devin Kloxine. As it was stated before, the parcel is current.
Gene, one second. Your name and address, and then I'm going to swear you in, okay?
Okay. Gene Wadzinski, 211 South 58th Avenue, Wausau, Wisconsin.
Okay, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, go ahead.
The parcel in question here is in favor of the development because of the difficulty that it has in farming the area. Basically, what you see there with the pond and the aerial photograph is that everything extending northerly beyond the pond is also questionable as far as access. So originally, that was why the extra 66 feet was added to the original survey map to provide access through what is now the field. And then, obviously, the southern end there, the existing driveway that was shown on the survey map is now gonna be converted to a commercial driveway and extended. It currently had approval for a residential driveway at 24 feet. I believe it'll be 35 feet now. And then subsequently, the northern end is under approval for the residential driveway also, but pending rezone. That's all I have.
Okay. Any questions from the committee? Okay, hearing none. Thank you. All right. Anybody else wishing to speak in favor of the proposed request, please identify yourself at this time. Anybody else wishing to speak in favor of the proposed request, please come forward or unmute yourself and identify yourself at this time. I'll call one more time after this. Anybody wishing to speak in favor of the proposed request, please come forward or unmute yourself at this time. Okay, hearing none, moving on. Anybody wishing to speak against the proposed request, please, unmute your phone or come forward at this time. Anybody wishing to speak against the proposed request, please unmute yourself or come forward at this time. I'll call one more time after this. Anybody wishing to speak against the proposed request, please identify yourself at this time or come forward at this time. Okay, hearing none. Anybody wishing to speak as interest, please identify yourself at this time. Come forward or unmute yourself. Anybody wishing to speak as interested, please come forward or unmute yourself at this time. I'll call one more time after this. Anybody wishing to speak as interested of the proposed request, please identify yourself at this time by coming forward or unmuting yourself. All right, hearing none. If no one else wishes to testify for this application, I am now declaring the public hearing on Devin Clockseam on behalf of Todd and Lori Smith, general agriculture to neighborhood commercial, excuse me, and neighborhood commercial and rural estate, Town of River Falls, closed. The committee will now deliberate on the application and apply the standards of the zoning ordinance. What is the pleasure of the committee?
Chair Longenhaus, Supervisor Pfeiffer.
Go ahead, Supervisor Pfeiffer.
I'd make a motion that we recommend approval of the rezoning request of Devin Clockseam on behalf of Todd and Lori Smith from general agricultural to neighborhood commercial and rural estate in the Town of River Falls, and accept the findings of fact as presented by staff.
Motion has been made. Is there a second?
Vice Chair Guild will second.
Motion by Pfeiffer, second by Guild. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Okay. Moving on, 4B, review and possible recommendations to County Board for its consideration, town zoning changes pursuant to State Statute 60.62 sub 3. 4B1, Town of Wausau, 231117 Wellborn Road, Wausau, pin number 0.2908.2908.293.0961.
Hi, Chairman, this is Dominique again. So I'll just briefly go over this.
Yep, go ahead, Dom.
Yep, as I believe the committee is aware, this is a town zone town. So just based on the Marathon County processes, it goes through the Environmental Resources Committee, but they do a lot of their deliberation and a review of their ordinance. And as stated and included in the packet, this is a rezone from a commercial/light manufacturing district to an agricultural district. And essentially all of the other information supplied by the town was included in the packet.
Very good. Any questions for Dom? Okay, hearing none, what's the pleasure of the committee?
All right, this is Vice Chair Guild.
Yep, go ahead, Vice Chair Guild.
My understanding is we're just looking for a motion to recommend this approval for county board, correct?
I believe so. Dom, can you confirm that?
That is correct.
All right, thank you.
Okay, then I will make a motion to approve the, let's see here. Is this a ordinance for Town of Wausau? Amending the zoning ordinance?
This is Dominic again. This is a town rezone for a town zone town.
Oh.
I guess technically it's a amendment, but it's an amendment to their zoning district map.
Okay. Then I will make a motion to approve the amendment to the zoning district map for the town rezone as presented in the packet.
Motion has been made. Is there a second?
Second. Second by Schley.
All right, motion has been made by Vice Chair Guild, second by Supervisor Schley. Any further discussion?
Chair, Supervisor Pfeiffer,
Go ahead, Supervisor Pfeiffer.
just a point of clarification. Our motion is for recommending approval, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Clarifying my motion.
Very good. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, 4C, review and possible recommendations to County Board for its consideration. 4C1, CPZ conversion of water resources technician from casual to full-time position, in parentheses, grant funded.
Good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me all right? Chair
Sounds good, Paul.
Okay. Yeah, I just want to give you a heads up that I'm working with our new director, Lori Miskimmons, and Lance Leonard on taking our water resources technician that's currently 1,500 hours a year to a full-time position. We've landed some grant money that we can use for this, and it would be currently that technician works with a lot of lake projects and also assisting in non-metallic mining, but this is what expands his duties into working on one of the highest priorities in the land and water plan, and that would be in the Fenwood and working on shoreline buffers. And that's another role that he currently serves as shoreline buffers, working on our shoreline zoning program. But this would be specific to the Fenwood and trying to work from the water's edge out to that 35 feet to get buffers in place. And we'll have a full new classification at the next meeting, but I just want to make sure if you have any questions, you certainly can reach out over the next month. And if you're curious about something, but we'll have that position reclass in the packet, so you'll have that. But I wanted to first provide you a heads up on that's going to be coming. We're hoping to have that as part of the August county board meeting. That basically there's 2 times of the year the county board allows the filling of our creation of positions if they're grant funded, during the year, and that would be the next opportunity according to Administrator Leonard. So that's all I had on that one.
Okay, any questions for Paul today? Otherwise, it sounds like you'll have opportunities to ask questions over the coming time period here. And Paul, I just want to confirm this. There should be no action today. Just expect to hear more in the future.
That would be correct, unless I left it under an action item in case the committee wanted to, if you had specific concerns or something you wanted me to work on, it's in a place that you could, direct me to it. to do something. But correct, I do not need that to be moved to any other committee or anything at this point. At the next meeting, you'll have ample opportunity to discuss the position and review the full request.
Very good. Any further discussion or questions from the committee? All right, thank you, Paul. Hearing none, we'll move on. Let's see here. 4D1, review and possible action. Harvey Fraza, certified survey map, Town of Easton, Tim Vreeland, surveyor, Vreeland Associates.
Yeah, this will be me. This is Dave Becker, the county surveyor. This is another certified survey map. We had one a few months ago that crosses the exterior boundary of a recorded subdivision, and therefore it requires the. Pardon me? Can everyone hear me all right?
Dave, I can hear you. I don't know if anybody else is having difficulty.
Okay, I was hearing some background noise.
Yeah, there's a little background noise out there, but we can hear you, Dave.
Oh, okay, good. So yeah, this is a certified survey map that crosses the exterior boundary of a recorded subdivision. Therefore, it requires the same approval process as that recorded subdivision. This is a certified survey map that was in your packet. And it takes one lot from a certified survey map, which was previously lot 3 of Oak Hill Heights. And then it also takes the northernmost lot, lot 1 of Pine Ridge Point, and is combining them together for the landowner to build on. He wanted to have a larger lot and build in the middle. As far as the CSM requirements, I'm not going to go through all of them. It meets all of our requirements for our land division ordinance, our zoning ordinance, and as well as the state statutes regarding our requirements for land divisions. So based on that information, CPZ staff recommend that the Environmental Resources Committee approve this proposed certified survey map.
Okay, thank you, Dave.
Any questions?
Yeah, and actually that's a good thing that Dave had pointed out. There was some background noise going on. If you're not talking, please be mindful of everyone on the call this afternoon to please mute yourselves to avoid any unnecessary background noise. So we had a report from Mr. Decker here. Any questions for Dave? I'm going to stop for a second. Is Lane out there by chance?
Lane is here.
Lane, can you tell where that background noise is coming from?
Yeah, we're wondering if it's a turn signal if someone's driving, or I don't know who it's coming from. But now it's stopped.
Okay.
So I hope they made the turn successful.
That's fair.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay. We had a report from Dave. Any questions for him? Any other discussion? Otherwise, I believe, Dave, you're looking for a motion to approve, correct?
Correct, and it won't be a recommendation to the entire board. This approval is final from the ERC.
Okay. What is the pleasure of the committee?
Supervisor Pfeifferich?
Yeah, go ahead, Supervisor Pfeifferich.
I would make a motion that we approve the Harvey Fraza certified survey map in the town of Easton.
Motion has been made. Is there a second?
Second by Schley.
Motion by Pfeifferich, second by Schley. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
5, educational presentations, outcome monitoring reports, and committee discussion. 5A, department updates, CPZ, Park and Rec and Forestry, Solid Waste. CPZ, 5A1, update of the reappointments on the Board of Adjustment Committee.
Hi, Jacob. This is Lane. I can take that one.
Sure, go ahead, Lane.
All right, so in the packet, you'll see a nice document typed up from CLU Central, or Center for Land Use as Education under UWSP, and that's under, or from Lynn Markham. But she does a nice job explaining, appointing the Board of Adjustment members, and every county in Wisconsin except for Milwaukee County has a zoning Board of Adjustment. And for Marathon County, it consists of 5 regular members and two additional alternate members. So you'll see that coming forward for those reappointments at County Board, I believe in July, if I'm not mistaken. And the role of the Zoning Board of Adjustment, members act like judges, make decisions by applying legal standards. They have to enforce the ordinances and laws as written. So that's pretty important. And then choosing the Board of Adjustment members, there's a bunch of criteria on the second page that we just wanted to go through. I'm not going to read those word for word, but you can see there's a number of them. And, getting those zoning board members up to speed, there's an online introduction video. I think it's like 6 minutes if anybody wanted to watch that for the educational piece of that. But just a heads up, that's coming forward to County Board. And right now on our Board of Adjustment, we have Carrie Brimmer, Carolyn Opitz, Roger Zimmerman, Richard Lawson, Arnie Schley, Karen Peel, and Jim Servey. And as far as reappointments, Karen Peel is up for reappointment, and her new term will expire June 30th, 2024. Jim Servey is up for reappointment, but he'll be reappointed as the first alternate with the new term expiring June 30th, 2024. And then Carolyn Opitz will move from the first alternate position to full-time BOA member with her same term expiration date of June 30th, 2023. So they stagger those terms on purpose so that not everybody's being reappointed at once. So that was just for a quick FYI informational purposes. You guys will see that in the County Board agenda for those reappointments. And I believe there will be a biography too for those.
Okay. Any questions for Lane? All right. Seeing none. Thanks, Lane.
Thank you.
Okay. 5A2 McDevco Pellets Loan Program update.
Jacob, this is Lane. I can take that one too.
Sure.
So we got some information from McDevco. CPZ has prepared a total of 4 loan verification forms, which are required to start the process with McDevco. And McDevco reports that they have approximately 10 inquiries about the loan and have given out 5 loan applications. However, they have not received any of the applications back, and they have not approved any loans as to the state. So that's just a quick update on the McDevco Pellets Loan Program.
Mr. Chairman, this is Marilyn Bend. Have a question?
Go ahead, Marilyn.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm just wondering how much money is left in that fund, and what is the administration fees that has been taken out of that money that was first deposited?
Marilyn, this is Lane. I'm not sure. I can't remember off the top of my head how much money is in there now. I know none has been taken out. I want to say, again, this is just a stab in the dark, 1.2 million. But I will, I'm going to verify those numbers and get back to you with that. And your second question was, what are the administrative fees? I believe it's a percentage, and I know it's a low percentage. I think it's like 1 or 2%, but I can definitely look into those for you if you'd like and get back to you.
And what is the approximate interest that is being occurred on that money that has not been used?
Okay, I'll get that for you too.
Chair, this is Supervisor Pfeiffer.
Go ahead, Supervisor Pfeiffer.
So I appreciate the update on this. I was not aware that there haven't been any loans given out on it. what is our plan to moving forward? Are we just going to wait around on all this money that we've set aside for this? Or is this something that we need to discuss in the future?
Hi, Randy. This is Lane. So there's been a lot going on with Wisconsin Fund that's still available, and it might still survive.
Okay.
You know, so that's been playing a big part of it. So we've been watching that closely, and we anticipated that would go away. But you know, as property owners, of course, they're going to go after grant funding before they have to take out any sort of loan. So you know, free money is always better than money that has to be borrowed. And there's criteria that are pretty strict for being applicable for the loan as well. But yeah, we're looking into that, and we might have to make adjustments moving forward. So we definitely have our fingers on the pulse of this. We're watching it closely. What do we have to adjust so that people want to utilize this program? But right now, when you look at it in correlation with Wisconsin Fund Grant Program, people are going to utilize that first. So. But this is just the beginning stages of rolling that out there, and with our, with the post maintenance program as well, that's going to, increase number of replacements as well. So hopefully we can utilize that program more in the future, and we'll make adjustments accordingly.
Thank you.
Lane, if I can just jump in, I think I can answer a few of those questions because I was working on those things at that time. And number one, yeah, there's been some inquiry into that, but there hasn't been a lot of requests yet because if you think about it, the last year we really started working with landowners that have failing systems. So they might have, got soil tests done last year, and they're moving into implementation phase this year or next year. So they're really starting to look at that, and this is a 6 to 7 year rollout, and we do feel those funds will be accessed and complement, possibly any grants they might secure from other sources. And from my understanding, there was a flat rate fee for loan development, and then from McDevco, and for some reason the number I thought was $450 to develop that loan package, and it wasn't a percentage of it. But I think we can check into that and find out for sure. And then also, I believe the loan is at 3%, if I remember correctly. So, I think those are well served. They're charging a flat rate fee that was bargained with Administrator Carter and McDevco, and the funds are transferred over to McDevco as they're needed, and then those funds are held in reserve by the Finance Department, and they continue to accrue interest just like they have in the past with conservative investments that the county has for any similar type funds. And I know those are well managed. So Marilyn, I don't know if that answers all of your questions or if there's anything left hanging that you really want us to come back and address.
One other question. I would just hope that we are earning more interest than what we're paying out in administrative fees for this.
I'm sure we are. I mean, those funds have been invested very wisely in the county. Again, the county handled them. McDevco really just requests them when the loan needs to be made. They make the loan. They're given a set amount when those loans are to be, come out. I know they got an original smaller amount, and then they'll get funds as that loan money would come out. So.
Okay. Any other questions from the committee for this topic? Okay, so this one was purely informational today. I know a few members had some questions regarding the program. So, yeah, we had some opportunity today for some questions to be asked. So, that being said, and hearing none, thanks to Lane and Paul there, and we'll keep moving on here. 5A3, update of Fenwood Creek funding request, and I think we're going to begin with Paul here.
Yeah, and this is Dominic from the Assemblies Room. Paul, I'm not sure if you know you're muted or not.
Sorry about that. I should unmute when I start. Thanks for the update, Tom. So, anyways, I'll start over. So, I just want to continue to update the committee on our progress on this, and we've met with 3 state senators already, including the chair of the Joint Finance, to discuss the Fenwood project, and we are optimistic that we may, try to get some state funds out of this. And we're also going to have meetings this week and with some assembly representative and Chair Langenhahn and myself and Chair Gibbs. After getting direction from the executive committee to pursue funding, we're trying to turn all the stones over we can to try to find funding for our Fenwood project. And there's some federal grants that we're also looking into at this point and seeing if they would be relevant to the project. And so that's really where we're at today. And, but we'll continue to look for those funds.
Okay, any questions for Paul? All right, seeing none, we'll continue to look forward to updates on this in the future. Okay. 6, policy issues discussion, committee determination of the county board for its consideration. A, legislative and budget report, current and future legislative initiatives and items related to the 2021-2022 state budget. 6A, 1 through 3, park, rec, forestry, conservation planning, zoning, and solid waste. I don't know who wants to start, but whoever wants to, feel free to go ahead.
This is Paul on behalf of the CPZ. I can just, tell you it's awfully quiet down there. I know the dam's going to break pretty soon because the pressures between Joint Finance and the governor's office on trying to get this budget moving forward. But there's little news that coming out of there on what's going to happen. I know the governor's budget got submitted and Joint Finance is hard at work, and we're optimistic that some of the priorities that ERC identified get funded related to conservation planning and zoning.
Very good. Any questions for Paul? If not, I don't know if we have any representatives from Park, Rec, and Forestry or Solid Waste here, but they can certainly provide updates if they're available as well. Okay, hearing none, I think we'll just pay close attention to what's about to come out here shortly. July 1 is a very important date in regards to the budget timeline, and I guess we'll just stay tuned for what's to come. 7, next meeting, June 29, 2021, 3 p.m., Assembly Room and future agenda items. 7A, committee members are asked to bring ideas for future discussion. 7B, announcements, requests, correspondence. Anybody have anything? I do not have anything. All right, hearing none, motion to adjourn would be in order.
Supervisor Seefeldt makes a motion.
Motion to adjourn by Seefeldt. Is there a second?
Supervisor Drabek will
second by Drabek. Yep, motion by Seefeldt, second by Drabek. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Those opposed? Thank you very much. Thank you, staff. Thank you, committee members. Thank you, members of the public. Have a great evening.
This meeting is no longer being recorded.